Hi guys, welcome back. So today, I know that I said that I was going to do a playdate kind of shebang with the Kat Von D Saint Center palette. And I know that it's been 2 weeks and I'm sorry I've been late on this one. But I'm going to be doing my second look, which is going to be my Saint look with this palette. I found last video that it was a little long because we did the whole foundation, concealer, all of that rundown, so I'm not going to do that one in this video. As you can see, my skin's already ready to go. I have a little bit of powder baking under my eyes, which is still the Kat Von D Lock-It Brightening Powder and Petal. Yeah, Petal. So that's what I have on. Foundation's done, brows are done, contour's done, it's somewhat baking, it's ready to go. So I'm going to hop into this tutorial because I kind of, now that I've been playing with it a little bit more, my first video, I can see, like, it looked good, but it could have been better, if that makes any sense. So I kind of wanted to play with it before I actually did another video, just because I want it to look A1, and if you guys can't look A1, then I'm not doing my job. And if you guys aren't learning from this video, then I'm not doing my job either. So, I'm going to do the look. Typically, I want to say I only used the Saint side. So I only used this spectrum of colors, and it's super simple. Even if you don't have this palette and you want to create this look, use the technique. If you want, use different shades of colors, comparable colors. You can find dupe videos already. See what you find, or just recreate the look and make it your own. So I'm going to jump into this tutorial because I've talked enough and we're going to get started. So let's do it. Now I'm going to use the Kat Von D High Voltage Eyeshadow Primer. The reason that I'm using this is because I somewhat want to still keep it all Kat Von D products, you know? Because I like Kat Von D's products. I just hate using this because they don't make this anymore and my tube is like... Can you see that? Can you see that? It's like wearing down. But this is probably going to be the last video that I use this primer for until I, want to use it again. Which probably will be like tomorrow because, it's that good. I need to get my hands on the stick version that she has, but oh, this version is just so good. So I wish I could just like hold the palette like this, but this kind of takes away from it. But it's okay, because you guys are just going to see me dip into them. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This one is one that doesn't have a name. I'm sorry. I'm trying to build up my brush collection more with like Morphe brushes, NYX brushes, this and that, but I love this brush. So I'm going to go with Amen first. I'm going to mix Amen and Baptism together just to create the base shade. Everybody always asks me what I mean by base shade, and so I'm going to tell you guys while I blend this out. So for me, a base shade is not a transition shade, and I know that a lot of people will, like, when I'm teaching them makeup, they'll say like, oh yeah, that's my transition shade, and I'm like, wrong. A base shade sets down all of the primer, so that way when you go in with a transition shade, it doesn't get patchy, it doesn't get gross, it doesn't stick and get clumpy and muddy, and it doesn't read bad on the eye. A lot of people go in on top of their primer, and it's by choice, it's whatever you like to do. If you don't like having a base shade, you feel like it's extra, you feel like it's an extra step, then feel free not to do it. But for me, it's kind of like a blanket, it's a safety pillow, and that just allows you to have more blendability because you're not on top of something sticky. I blended that from the crease to the pretty much brow. And like I said, it's a base shade, so it doesn't really matter. It's not gonna like look weird. I'm gonna dip into Sacred Heart right here, and I'm gonna apply that inside the crease. This one is kind of something that threw me off too, so if you guys don't want to use this shade, you don't have to. Typically, I've never been one to do like all shimmer shades. Quite frankly, I always like to have a like a matte shade, because I'm just not a shimmery shade type of person. Like, I can't just use all shimmers on my eye because I feel like it looks weird. That's what we're kind of going for. We're going for this, if you guys can see that. It's like pinky, peachy, pretty, just blended out look. I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye. Okay, so now that we have that down, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this, it's from the brand Kala, C-A-L-A. It's a small shadow 320 brush. It looks like this. It's just one of like a packer brush. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into Rosary, which is this like purpley pinky tone shade. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that on the brush and I'm going to use like pat it on both sides, and I'm just going to tap that right about here on the outer corner of your eye. We're going to do kind of like a semi-cut crease. I do want this look to be a little bit dark, just because it is a saint look doesn't mean it has to be like feathery and airy and light and super like baby doll colored. It can be a little smoky, a little sexy, but still be like a grocery store look or a church look, you know what I mean? You can wear black eyeshadow to church, you just don't want to do it like ham, you know? I'm blending that about midway. And then what I'm going to do now is with that same brush that I used, Sacred Harden, I'm going to take that and blend the corners. Just blend from right here. You see where that demarcation line is? You're just going to blend that up. So typically, like I said, take your brush like this and it does all the work for you. So you can see it's still somewhat there, but it's not completely there anymore. It's not as harsh versus like this side. Blended, not blended. So I'm going to take the brush the same way and blend it out. I feel like nowadays, guys, like nobody's really teaching makeup. It's just like, oh my god, I was sponsored by this, and oh my god, Morphe sponsored this video, and oh my god, I was sponsored by Best Fiends, and oh my god, I was sponsored by this. Like, what happened to the good old days when people actually wanted to teach makeup? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, you know, if I'm sponsored or not sponsored, like I would totally do like a sponsored video if I had the chance to, you know? But typically, I did this whole YouTube thing because I wanted to teach people. Take my NYX Full Coverage Concealer, and this one is in the shade Alabaster. And the reason I'm using this is because Kat Von D is cruelty-free and vegan. I don't know if this is completely vegan, but I do know that NYX is completely cruelty-free because I work there. So I'm going to take the brush. I got a flat brush and I put it on both sides. The reason that I'm doing this is because I'm literally just going to stamp it from the corner of my eye and just drag it up, just like this. So you're going to kind of want to make sure that you keep it the same on both sides. So just like that. And you're going to want to blend that concealer on the lid. It's okay right now because it's not filled in yet. It's going to be filled in a bit. And concealer is super easy to blend out. So if you mess up, like, don't fret it. So just like that. You see that's kind of like a cut crease. Doing the same thing. Actually, hold on. Let me just get that all over. Okay, now doing the same thing on the other side. I'm going to just, you know, put my brush in there. Both sides like this and like this. And I'm going to take that brush, and again, this is the hard part for everybody. It's like making them symmetrical. So I like to balance my hand on my table, and I like to get really close to my mirror. And I like to kind of just like eyeball it. And I'll draw the line first, just like that. And then I'll go back and forth. So if I feel like I did it too low, I actually feel like this one looks really, really good. If I feel like I did it too low, I'll kind of readjust myself. Like I kind of did it a bit low, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to take it a little bit higher. Blend. Now I'm going to go into Absolution, which is the top shade. It is a frosted white with gold reflex in it. And I'm going to pack that shade right on top of the concealer that I laid down, just because that's acting like a glue for the shadow. So just packing it. You don't want to blend, you want to make sure that you're packing it because this is kind of like a micro glittered shadow. So if you kind of just like swipe it, it's not really laying down the color, it's just like I don't know, smearing it. But yeah, is there anything you guys want to see on my channel? Like, I remember I used to make like 2-minute tutorial Tuesday or something like that, and it used to just be like quick, simple looks. If you guys want that, let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see, because then that kind of helps me do, you know, what you guys like. I'll be able to provide for what you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, I feel like I took that line out a bit too long, so I'm going to take that Sacred Heart color, or whatever's left on the brush, and just blend it in a bit. Same thing with this side. And then I'm going to go back in with the brush that I used for the rosary shade. Taking a bit more rosary, I'm going to just pack that up until where Absolution is. This part, it's always the hardest part that people have, because they never know if they want to take it in or if they want to take the white out. What I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take the brush and lightly just like featherly tap it, just because it blends it. It gives it that transition a little bit easier. And then what you can do is go back in with that flat brush that you used Absolution on. Take a bit more of Absolution and just pat that right on top of it. I don't know if you guys can see that now. They kind of blend on top of each other like a sandwich, and it just makes it look more flattering to the eye. It doesn't look just like two shadows right next to each other. So since I already did it to this side, I'm going to take Absolution and just lay that on top of that. And I told you guys I did want to make this a bit smoky and a little bit sexy, so I'm going to go back in with that shade that I used Rosary on. And now I'm going to dip into Sanctuary, which is this kind of like reddish toned brown, I would say. It's like a chocolate kind of color. Taking that, I'm going to just run that on the outer corner, just like that. Doing the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to take the brush that I used Sanctuary on, which is the Morphe 576, and I'm just going to blend that like this into the Rosary shade. I'm just going to take the Amen and the Baptism together, run that along the lower lash line. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I want it to be balanced. So because it's really top heavy, sometimes, I mean, you don't need to do this, but if you want to do it, it helps. Since it's so top heavy up here, meaning there's a lot going on here, I kind of want to have a little something down here so that it also gives you something to look at. Typically people with smaller eye shapes, you don't want to do this. The reason you don't want to do this is because it's going to shrink your eye that much more. But if you have a big eye and big lid space like me, feel free to do this. It kind of just balances it out. Now I'm going to take the 576, go back into Sacred Heart, tap it, and lightly just feather that underneath along the outer corner. Bottom, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to curl my lashes and throw on some lashes, and then we will finish the look. So give me 1 second. I went ahead and popped on these lashes. These are the Kiss lashes that come in this box. They're the Style Shy. And yeah, so lastly, all I'm going to do for this look is I'm going to pop on Lolita 2 on my lips, and I will come back and we'll talk about this. But yeah, this is the finished look. So it is a semi-cut crease with a really pretty shimmery inner corner. On top of that too, we topped it off with Lolita 2, which is one of my favorite Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipsticks. And I hope you guys liked this tutorial. I hope you guys learned a lot from it. So I will see you in the next videos, which will be Halloween videos. So till then, I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. So, bye!